Hello friend, it's Tonton, and in today's video we're gonna talk about the charms. These are really important to understand and to get it right. I think it causes quite a bit of confusion. People are asking me a lot of questions about them, and the guide I've made is quite a while ago now, so it's time to update it. First, where do you get the charms for most of it? As most items, it's if you look at your bags, it's gonna be written on it. But at the end of the day, as free to play, unless you spend, it's not even written on it on this somehow. You're gonna get them a lot from Frostfire Mine. That's really important for our castle battle, local and SVS. Tyrant as well will give you a lot, and these are the kind of easy event that you can rank and get charms on a regular basis. You will get some from Intel missions, you will get some from other places. A good spot if you want to focus on your charm sometimes is seasonal events, where you have to choose between Mithril, between Fire Crystal and Charm. That's often the three choices you make. And it's not an easy choice because you want Fire Crystal for your level of your building to not lag behind. You want Mithril to get your hero gear higher. And from time to time, it could be okay to get the charms. One issue you will find with the charms very quickly, and it does not show as much for me anymore because I use the exchange, and I'll talk about that a bit later, but that the game gives you a lot more guides than it's giving you designs. So whenever you go out of your way to get some charms material on these, one of these, you should get the design for most of us. Big spender, they will lack both eventually, and they will miss some guides at some point. But for the 99% of us that do not buy enough design to actually miss the guides, you're gonna meet the designs. So if you buy some packs, if you buy from shops, you could get, you should get the designs. In my case, I used to have over 10k guides. And right now I have like 4k of these, so they're gonna go through very quickly. But I had a backup of like an extra 10k that I could not use. So that's why I unlocked the exchange, and I'll talk a bit about that a bit later. So that's kind of where do you get your charms in a very simple, quick way. There are other ways you can get them, but these are the most important one. Maybe a few words for spenders. Charms are really expensive. We are 2 years, and my city is more than 2 years old, and I spend a few $100s on charms. And you can see I have like 11, 9, 9 everywhere. Here it's 8, and there it's between 7 and 8 for lancers. And now we have charms until level 16. So these to max out is like $1,000 and $1,000 of dollars. It's really expensive. Charms are really good because the game is giving you less health and less lethality, so you want to balance your stats. You want to have as much health as you have defense. You want to have as much lethality as you have attack to try to maximize the damage you do or the damage reduction you have. So focusing on charm, except then chief gear, for example, is often considered better because you just lack the health, you just lack the lethality, and you can only do on, that's a good source of it. That's really a good source of it. But it's very expensive. So it gets really expensive at the beginning of the game, and I will show you some of the packs that you get later so you get an idea. But if you look at the custom archery chest, that's the biggest one you can get in terms of a custom chest, and that's what we can get for us. So for $5 for us, you get 26 times 3. So that's 78 of these, right? And right now to upgrade the charm, I need like 500. So it's gonna cost quite a bit. So it's gonna cost, it's like a $40-30 to just to buy the design to upgrade the charm, just one level to going from 8 to 9, for example, something like that. And that the best value of your charms is unlocking when you are Gen 7, because that's why you get charms to level 12 to 16, right? When you start the game, your charms are going to level 11. So you will see, your wells with this one, and they will be maxed out. And at the moment you unlock Gen 7, your charms can actually go to level, and there is a new currency, which is secrets, which is, not available in all shops, which is not available in many places. It's really expensive, really hard to get, and the only way to get the secret is actually by exchanging either the guides or either the designs, and it's 40 for one. And you can do 50 per week, of which you can do 100 of each per week for it. There are some shops, seasonal events where you can buy these. It's not on all events, but on some events you can. But they tend to be expensive. So if you are already at that stage of doing your charms, you might want to buy somewhere you can. But again, that's getting crazy expensive. So when you start the game, you can go from 1 to 11, as we just saw. Gen 7, you can start to go to 12 to 16 for your charm, and that's the highest level available right now. And that means that along the way, with new building, new generation of heroes, your pack's gonna get better, and that's the best version. Something to note is like from Gen 6, between Gen 6 and Gen 7, these packs goes up 25%. So if you are like Gen 5, 6, and you consider starting to spend on charms, you know, it might be better to finish a bit your pets, it might be better to finish a bit other places, because charms gonna go up quite a lot. And it does not go up as much on every event and things like that, but many places your charms are going up a lot. And here from that custom art history chest, our wealth calculated was plus 25%. I don't remember the value before, but you know, that's pretty easy to do. It's probably around, it goes from 20 to 21 or 20 to 26, something like that, you know, for each little tile, something like that. So, you know, that's where, and then you are max value. So again, spending on charm in Gen 7 is a lot more efficient if you're a spender than if you spend money in Gen 1 to 3. You can do many other things. It's true for all packs. It's true of everything you spend in the game, more or less right now, except expert at that stage of the game. Only expert are kind of the same value, no matter the generation. But I'm sure that's gonna go away. Pets used to be like that. Pets used to be as expensive for everybody. Now packs for pets for me are probably 2 or 3 times better than some of the early stage players that just got the pets. So I'm sure eventually experts gonna be the same, because it's the same for every other item in the game. So that was one word about spending and about, you know, cost over time of charm that kind of going down a lot. So what to do with your charms? What to upgrade? Where do you go? Often there are mostly 3 strategies, I'd say, at that stage of the game. You will use, no matter what you use in the game, how you play, you're gonna use your infantry more. Whether you play 60-40, whether you play 60-40, whether you play 48-48, so whether you are using infantry lancers, infantry marksmen without lancers and things like that, like you're gonna use your infantry. So overall, one of the advice is often to get higher on charms, to get extra health on your infantry and a bit of lethality. Your infantry is still doing a bit of damage. You know, when you're using 60% of infantry, they are still doing a bit of damage. Even if it's not that as important, it's still nothing. It's not nothing, sorry. So you will likely want by default to get a bit higher on your infantry, and here it shows for me, I'm 9, I'm 8, and I'm 8. Then you will buff the next one you're gonna level up is the one you use the most. So if you care to do bear damage, you're gonna focus on marksman second. Some players that care really about being offensive and on bear damage, they will do marksman first. That's an option. You will see people do that. It's not very common nowadays, because that's not the advice that, you know, you got anywhere in the game for the last 2 years. That, you know, nobody gave that advice, more or less. But I've seen people that make it work with going a bit heavier on marksman than actually infantry, and that's really focusing on damage. And they will play like a troop ratio, like would be like 40-10-50, something like that. That is a bit more offensive, but you know, the 48-48 probably works. So that's an option as well. If you're like, I'm a low spender or I'm a free to play, I want to be able to burn cities, so I'm gonna focus on 2 troops. That's, you know, that's one way to think about upgrading your account, is like focusing on 2 troops. That's kind of the main way people play nowadays for quite a few people. More and more people are doing that, at least. And, you know, it could be like either infantry first, either marksman first in that case. If you play 60-40, so infantry lancer, then you can do the same. But the advice will probably be the infantry first here and the lancer just behind. So often when you upgrade like chief gear, when you upgrade hero gear, when you upgrade charms and stuff, you want to have your 2 main troops not very far. So for me, it will be level 9, for example, here, and level 8 or 7, something like that. If I had like my infantry level 10 and my lancers level 5 and my marksman level 3 because I'm doing like 60-40, you know, it's not gonna be terrible, right? There is like, it costs a lot more to increase a charm from 10 to 9 or 9 to 10 than it costs to increase for 4 to 5, for example, even if, you know, you get less stats. So that's kind of how you upgrade. So you have to decide a bit. If you don't want to decide to use a specific troop ratio, you're not sure if you're going to use 60-40 later or 48-48, you know, you're not sure if it's marksman or lancer the best, my suggestion for you is do all of them. And if you do, for example, infantry, marksman, lancers for your charm. Then for your chief gear, you could do infantry, lancers, marksman. You can swap a bit, right? And in your research or in your hero gear, you balance things a bit. And that will be very okay as well. I played until Gen 9, I played 50, 20, 30, worked really well for me. Many events I finished first in burning cities and, destroying other opponents. It seemed that 60-40 works better. I have very good feedback from some of you as well about 48 for 48, having a city build that way. So these are all viable options. So that's really okay. So you can balance things a bit, or you can be like, okay, I really want to focus and to be a bit weaker somewhere else. If you want to go 60-40, the only challenge I see with that ratio is like more, it's really good to burn cities and to, to play. But the issue is that you're gonna do very little bear damage, right? So because you're gonna, not focus as much on your marksmen and your lancers. If you try bear formation with lancers, it's really not as good as marksmen. It's really, really not as good. So that will be something that's to be taken into account, and that's an important factor. If I had to restart the game today, I give a lot of things to that. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm restarting. I'm like a medium spender. I have a budget of 1,000 a month. What will I do? I'll probably play 48 for 48 because you can do that starting Gen 3 and you are good at bear. And, you can not train a lot of lancers. You can leave your lancers quite behind. But, 60-40 is very viable, really strong in Alliance Championship, burning cities, many places. So both are an option. And again, you don't have to be forced to play only two troop types. You can play 3 troop types. You can play 50, 20, 30, 60, 10, 30. That works really well. And my suggestion currently will be to balance between all of these, a bit of your research and your hero gear. So you are not just putting infantry first absolutely everywhere all the time, or just maybe infantry first everywhere all the time. But then the thing you might not want to do is like to have your lancers lagging far behind your infantry. Especially if you use 20% of lancers in your ratio. If you use 10%, if you're like you are 60, 10, 30%, which works very well for me, to be honest, for a very long time as well, then you can start to be like letting your lancers lagging a bit behind. I know I'm not black and white on this, and you will find some other YouTubers, some other people telling you do that. But, for me, it's like depth, it's like understanding, it's like as well, whatever you want to do. Like you might just want to play lancers because you find lancer cool. So if you want to make it work, then it's 60-40 or 40-60. And, you need to know how to make it work. So the guidance here is a bit more, not as clear as some people might do. But I think you appreciate the nuance and that different options, and that you can pick for yourself what's best. And if you don't know, again, you have what to do as well. So that's really, really important. Let's talk about the exchange. Is it worth unlocking the exchange, and what you should do with it? So the exchange is unlocking generation 7. So when you unlock charms to go from 11 to 16, when you can go beyond charm 11, so generation 7 of heroes. So that's nearly 2 years in the game. So that's quite down the line for many of us. You can unlock the exchange, and to unlock the exchange, you need to finish 1 charm to level 11. So as soon as you are both Gen 7 and 1 charm level 11, you will be able to unlock the exchange. What does it mean for you? It probably means that depending a bit if you buy some packs with charms, if you buy some packs in Journey of Light, if you rank well in some events, it might be a bit quicker or slower to get there. But it's for most of us, it means that when your charms are between 4 and 6 and around Gen 5, you might, if you want to unlock the exchange, you might need to start to push 1 charm level 11 already. So it's somewhere around Gen 5. If you just do Gen 6, and you might be a bit short, but that's it's not that bad as well. So you are Gen 7, you did your push, from let's say from Gen 5 you started to go towards 1 charm towards level 11, likely to do an infantry. That's likely the best option for most of us. But again, if you're a bear trap player and you want to do damage, or somehow if you prefer to play 40-60 with your lancers and you want more lancer damage, then these are options as well that you could consider, even if they're not the most popular and the most common one. The way it works for the exchange, so you click on your charms, you click here, and you can exchange some of your guides for designs, but it's 2 for 1, right? And you can up to 500 of, you can get 500 design a week, so you can get you can burn through 1,000 of these. For me, when we reached Gen 7, I had more than 12,000 or 15, I forgot, but it was like above 10K. So what I initially decided, I'm gonna spend money and I'm gonna buy just these. I'm gonna buy the design, but I'm not spending enough in the game to be able to make up for the gap between the two, because when you upgrade your charm until charm 10, it costs more design than it costs guides, and to upgrade to 9 to 10, it starts to cost a bit more guides, if I remember, and then 10 to 11, it costs a bit more guides as well. But until then, until you have all your charms level 9 and stuff, the game gives you a lot less design, and it costs far more to upgrade. So the issue is, like, I started to pour, €50 a month in charm, and that ratio, like, it never came close to being even, right? I always have far too many designs, far too many guides. So I went to the exchange. I push one charms to 11 the next time I push, and I unlock the exchange. So for many of us, it means like we're gonna burn through, 4, 5, 6, 7K of these. Just be careful that, if you are a spender, medium spender and stuff, when you get close to 11 and 12, you might meet the guides. I'm stopping right now to exchange them. Even if you look at, at the other charms, it's still, for example, for my level 7 charms, it still take me 100 of these and 50 of these, right? So you can see it taking twice more of these than it takes from these. When you do level 8, it's taking 75 and 100, so it's 25% more. And if you look at the level 9, it's even. So you can clearly see that you start to need to get a lot more guides and stuff. So that's something you have to be careful, but that's really for like more, spenders. And whenever you unlock an exchange, whether it is with Chief Gear or Charms, you are losing value. For Chief Gear, I could see the point to be very patient and not unlock the exchange. I see it, and some people push back when I suggest to do that, and I understand it. I think that still, for most of us, it still makes sense to unlock the exchange for Chief Gear. I think the same for Charms, because you can basically burn through like 5, 6K of these for most of us if you did your Frostfire Mine, with care, and every 2 weeks. If you did your Sunfire Castle battle and all of that, you will be like me. You will have 10, 12, 15K of these, and you can easily burn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10K of these over time to get to these. And that's gonna mean, you're gonna get 1, 2 more level of charm than someone that's not unlocking the exchange. Is that the end of the world? Is that making you far stronger than everybody else, that you're gonna burn cities and stuff? No, it does not. If you look at my stream on Foundry Sunday, you could see that I really struggle to burn people that are, quite weaker, lower spenders, but, they have 3, 4, 5 million troops in their cities, and it's a nightmare to burn, to be honest. Even when you are, above them by quite a bit, without being like a whale and a rally leader kind of stats, right? So, but, you're going to be a bit stronger. You're going to have more ease to burn certain cities. You're going to do a bit more damage on bear. You're going to perform better in some events, like, event that matters. When you have your own stats, if you care about Canyon Clash and things like that, you can help the team a bit more. So that's, if you optimize for your account and you care to be strong, it is what it is. It's just part of it. So the exchange could really help you. And it's, it's depending on how much you get. But consider that, when you get to there, don't burn too many guides. It's like, your steel for T11. If you burn too many steel, you cannot do your T11. So that's the issue. But that's really where we are with charms. In terms of priority of what you should focus on, right now, I will put them a bit lower than I used to. So for me, one of the priority will be always Fire Crystal. I think it's really key, especially as free-to-play. You really need to focus on your Fire Crystal to get higher troop level, so you can still play the game with your alliance. If you are too low on Fire Crystal, you're gonna be left behind in Tyrant, in Tundra Arm Leagues, in rallies for Sunfire Castle. If you're on a very active state, for us, like many rallies and events are like, we have 30, 40 people that are paying regularly, a few $100 a month in average, or, at least 100 in average. So free to play, it's really hard, but we are a very active states compared to quite a few out there. So, it gets tough for some of the free-to-play people. If you're in a less active state, it might be a bit easier for you, so that's kind of a choice you have to make as well. But charms, I will put them, so Fire Crystal, I'll put very high, I'll put Hero Gear, because this helps for arena exploration, all of these. I'll put Expert and Pets as well very high, because these are permanent, and these are like utility as well, and some of these are multiplicative, like your pets are multiplicative. So I'll put the charm, like, you know, a bit before your research, maybe, because that's going to happen naturally over time. A bit before your chief gear, because that's, you know, attack and defense, and you have enough on your heroes. So it's kind of middle of the pack in terms of priority. It used to be higher, but even if I was like, you know, if I had a budget of, you know, 500, 1,000, 2,000 a month, I will delay spending on my charms quite a bit, except a few good packs like Journey of Light. I'll buy these out from that, and then I'll, you know, kind of accumulate a lot of these. And when, you know, my pets are very solid, when my experts are very solid, when my hero gear is very solid, I will then, you know, closer to Gen 7, I'll push a bit stronger on charms, even if, you know, it's me being behind for a while. But, you know, we have to choose. We cannot do everything. We have to pick and choose our priority. So that's kind of where the charms are for me right now. Hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments if I'm missing anything on that guide. And if you have any question, else I'll see you in the next one. I'll be streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a few events. So if you have questions about charms or anything that I've been posting lately, you know, we can see each other for Fireman, Crazy Joe, and all of the usual every 2 week Tuesday stream. Thank you very much for watching. Consider joining the Discord. Consider subscribing. Thank you very much for your support. It's very much appreciated. And a lot of love to you all. I see you in the next one.